Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Envious Allied. I'm going to be going over patch 3.4. Sorry if you see my green screen being all weird. Yeah, I'm going to be going over 3.4 Winter's Bite, the new patch that came out with the new god Skandi. So we're not going to go over her directly because honestly, she doesn't matter too much to balance because her kit is subject to change over the course of the PTS. So we're really gonna the goal here is we're gonna try to hit the competitive aspects of the gaming, the balance changes really. So the skins are nice, and I do like there was like a shit ton of skins this time around. Like, holy fuck, like there's a lot of cool skins. The Rama skin, I'm definitely gonna get that. That's awesome. But yeah, let's scroll on down. We're not gonna touch any of the achievements obviously because that's casual pleb shit. Okay, so this is actually the best area to start gameplay. So obviously, we'll do a quick recap of the meta. So, previously on 3.3, the biggest problem was the fact that really, like, soul lanes kind of were out of control. Like, a big thing was soul laners were kind of getting, like, way too fed and way too far ahead experience-wise. And a lot of people don't know, like, so a lot of people just assume soul laners are overpowered as fuck, which is, like, yeah, like, warriors being able to build full tank is never fun or never like cool to deal with, but overall there's always like a downside. Like, warriors fall off by like mid to late game. They're more of just sponges. They don't really do that much damage by mid to late game. The reason why warriors feel like they're so invincible this time around in season 3 compared to season 2 is the fact that, one, physical defense is so easy to come by. Like, literally, like, your first item, Breastplate of Valor, is like 90 physical defense or some shit. So, like, legit, like, you could just build and stack physical defense, and then obviously magical defense. Well, even with Bork being Hope, is still one of the better items. It's a lot easier to get the protections that you need, and you still have like pretty good base health on top of the fact that like you could still get like a health item if you really need health or whatever. And it's still the fact that you don't really need to build into damage items. Like, most damage you'll see a warrior build into is Breastplate of Valor into Jotun's Wrath for a full CDR combination. So really, besides that, another big thing for warriors is the fact that they get the most farm in the game. And it's not even like by a little bit. I mean, like, they will be like legitimately like 7 levels ahead, depending on like how well they play it out or how well they farm, how efficiently they farm the soul lane. So, and the reason because of this is because, well, really, there's so much farm over there in the soul side of the map, and jungler won't really touch it. Example, boars off cooldown, which is actually pretty important. If you're a soul laner, really you want to be able to solo down the boars off cooldown, because that means they'll respawn more frequently, which means that you'll get more experience in gold more frequently, which is pretty good. If you're able to control the enemy's boars as well as your boars, you're gonna have a serious experience advantage and a serious gold advantage over everyone else, because the boars spawn like what seems like every fucking second. Like, they spawn all the fucking time. I don't know the exact timers off the top of my head, but it seems like it's like a lot. So on top of that, you have the fire elementals, which is still like but it's something. And you also have Soul Lane Wave, Blue Buff, which Soul Lane is pretty much solo at this point. Junglers don't really come over and help unless there's a threat of an invade. And you can also take the enemy's Blue Buff, which is a pretty big deal, and it's quite common, especially if you're winning the Soul Lane. Back Harpies, which you're probably not going to be going for those because there's too much farm on the map at this point. But let's cover over it. You have, just without even including back harpies, you have 5 potential areas of getting farm frequently, and that's the key word here. It's frequently. All these buffs are up all the fucking time. It's not like they're never up. It's not like there's like a solid like 2 minutes between each buff or anything crazy like that. It's like boars will be up frequently. Like, you'll be able to, like, you won't even realize they'll just be up. They'll be, oh, okay, well, I'm also grab them. It gives you something to do non-stop. And I like the fact that Hi-Rez is trying to add something to do, especially in Soul Lane, considering it's like a fucking island. You just sit over there and farm forever, then you come in late game and become invincible. And I like the fact that like there's something to contest over in Soul Lane. But the biggest thing is, if you can't contest, if you can't fight the 1v1, or you get invaded on, you fall too severely far behind and you lose complete control of your side of the jungle, and that fucking sucks. So now that we got that out of the way, because a lot of people just think like, oh, why didn't they nerf warriors? Well, even if they did nerf warriors to complete piles of shit, that wouldn't fix the ultimate core problem. There's too much farm on that side of the map. So this is why Hi-Rez decided to go with remove one board from the fire giant side of the board camps, whatever, right? Like, I think this is a great change because it's literally you're cutting the experience in half. Even if you do invade, it's not that big of a deal, but it's still experience there, and you're still gonna want to contest that, and it's still like a big deal. So we'll see how Hi-Rez plays this one out. I think this is a big deal. A lot of people sleep on these kind of like small changes, but literally like you are taking away experience from the soul lane side of things. In my opinion, what I would like to see, when I've been saying this forever, would be fuck this change, revert the change, right, like over the PTS or whatever, and just up the respawn rate. Literally, like, put that bitch up to like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. No one gives a fuck about boars. Boars are there to kind of like seal the deal, like, hey, guess what, I'm fucking botting you, bro. Not only can I beat you in the 1v1, so you're forced under tower and you're not getting any tower gold or experience, but guess what, I'm gonna take your fucking boars, bitch. And guess what, if you can't even contest your boars, I could take your blue buff, bitch, because I'm like 3 levels ahead of your jungler. And that's it. That's like the soul lane mentality. They're just big bullies. Every single soul laner is like a bully in high school. Omega, Cyclone, fucking, you name it, Baskin, he's a big bad bully. But yeah, like, that's really it. It's just a bully thing to do. It's just you bully out the other guy if you win the matchup. You take everything from him. You take the lunch money, and then the other guy's like, fuck, I'm level 12 and this other guy's level 18. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. And that's just it. That's soul lane for you, man. It sucks, but you know, that's just the way the meta is. So I think this will be actually very fucking, like, a lot of people are gonna sleep on this shit. This is huge shit. We'll see how that changes the meta. Glowing emeralds, all items in this shit have their cost reduced by 50. So this is like all health items and shit. I think these health items are good. They're just not really highly favored. Hydra's Lament, passive no effect no longer has a cooldown. This is pretty big, considering the fact that like Loki is already really good with Hydras, and I get this item on Loki a lot. If you guys have recently watched my stream, I'm actually playing a lot of Loki because I'm just a fucking pleb. But it works, like, especially against people that with no coordination skills, no brains. Like, it's amazing. Like, the Loki split push is even better this season, which is crazy. Like, he's probably gonna have to see a serious nerf sometime in the future, and Hydra's Lament is going to make him even stronger. So yeah, we gotta monitor really this change. But as far as it being picked up by anyone else, I would imagine you're going to start seeing Hydra's Lament being picked up on other characters. I mean, it still gives 15% CDR, and that's like kind of like one of the highest valued stats in Smite right now, CDR, because it's so hard to get like the full value of it. So like, yeah, I expect people to go for that 35% CDR with Hydra's now. Mass Immune. Increased physical power from 30 to 50. This item still, I think it's okay. I don't think it's like that good. I don't expect anyone to really buy this, even with this physical power increase. It's okay. Rage. The cost reduced 2600 to 2400. Thank God. I don't know why the cost was increased by so fucking much, but we'll see how people add this to their builds. Really, you have to monitor, and people have to do like their crit calc and see if this is even worth it now. If it's efficient. I mean, it's a good item. It's just it's not efficient to actually get into. Rod of Ass Claps. Basically, they increased the ore by 5% and reduced the cost by like 60 gold. You're probably not going to get this item still. Rod of Healing reduced the cost. You're still not going to get this item, really. Like, you really have to be... This is like more... You're playing like Afro and Hell, and then they're just not in the meta. Sanctuary can no longer be activated while casting another ability. I didn't realize that this was even like... I mean, like, this was good for Zhonghui, but whatever. I don't think this is going to change anything particularly, except like Zhonghui's got nerfed indirectly. Like, okay, fuck Zhonghui. No one gives a fuck about Zhonghui, except like Moswald. That's really it. So, Wind Demon. So this is the, for people that don't know, this is basically the anti-healing item for the crit tree, and increase the healing debuff from 3 seconds to 8 seconds. This is pretty significant. However, I don't think people are still going to build into it, but we'll see. Like, if you end up going into the crit tree, then this might be a viable item if you're against a sustained composition. Anhur. So, while Our fix to Impale and 3.3 helped out. Anhur's still struggling, so apparently Anhur's just not doing too hot. So Hi-Rez decided to buff him. So decreased the mana cost, which I think is great. I noticed how I didn't touch this. I'll get back to this, but they decreased the mana cost, and I think this is really good because now like Anhur can freely spam his Impale on the wave and not be completely out of fucking mana. And this is like more of a quality of life change. It's the same thing with Uller. Last patch in 3.3, his bladed arrow got his mana cost reduced, and that's huge, right? Like you want this to happen, especially for our lion over here. But the biggest thing is that this Enfeeble buff, this is probably like, this is insane. Increase the physical protection debuff from 15 to 20. Like fuck me up, fam. Like really, like just fuck me up. Like this is actually like it's not like Anhur, at least in the topish levels of play, or at least competitive level play, is not being picked. Anhur is still definitely valuable. It's just other AD carries are just way too fucking strong, like Chiron or Hu Yi. There's no point ever picking Anhur unless like you're against a full purification beads comp where you have to like, you know, blow your beads every second. Well, Anhur CC immunity all comes into play there. Also, a big reason why you're not seeing Anhur this meta is because Winged Blade, for example, is so potent in the meta, which is the immune to slow items. Because for 1780 gold or whatever the fuck, 1850, I forgot. It's for a very cheap amount of gold, you get 300 health, 15% attack speed, and a whole bunch of other stats on top of immunity to slows, on top of movement speed. Like fuck me up. And it also gives crowd control reduction. Like what? That's literally like, it's the most condensed fucking like potent item in the fucking game. It's actually insane. So Anhur's AoE slow becomes a little bit less valuable because of that. Like in fact, all characters with slows just become less valuable this season. Like Xing Ten, who got completely gutted, you know, is completely shitty now because whatever. Yeah, like because of him, like they changed his root into a slow, and now he's just completely shit. Like no one, he doesn't even feel good to play anymore. It just sucks. He doesn't even have any kind of utility on him. But yeah, that's just an example. Bakasura, eat minion, fix on a build. This is more of like a bug fix. So yeah, now you can eat small minions. Cool. Storm Call. So a lot of people think this buff is like a pretty big deal. Really, it's gonna be more annoying to deal with Chalk. But as far as like high level competitive play, we really have to see. I still don't think this kind of a change really fixes Chalk. It's more along the lines of like it brings him in line with like Bologna and Amaterasu, whose ults are on like such a shorter cooldown compared to Chalk's. So yeah, with full CDR, he's gonna be able to spam literally an AoE silence nonstop, which is gonna be kind of fucking annoying. But you know, if you need objective secure, Chalk is your guy to go to. So yeah, maybe a little bit of competitive play coming out of Chalk. Hercules. So Hercules has kind of been like, just because of his kit, he's so hit or miss, and it's not like Hercules' fault. Like honestly, they keep buffing the shit out of Hercules. Here's the tell, right, for Hercules being good. If Hercules is ever in the meta, he's going to get nerfed, and it's not because like Hercules is like a bullshit character or whatever. His kit is just too fucking good. If you can very easily hit your combo and just ult nonstop for the first 20 minutes of the game, his kit is just fucking amazing. Like legit, like it does way too much. He has just way too much blatant burst damage, and that's really the satisfying part of Hercules. You get to blow people the fuck up as a full tank god. Like you won't die. You walk around and you just kind of laugh at people. So this kind of stuff should be able to actually help out. But overall, the increased movement speed, increased base attack damage is just kind of like, really. I don't think this will fix the core problems, but it'll be definitely nice. You might see Herc perform a little bit better, but nothing crazy. Kukoken. Kukoken's okay, but he's just not in the meta, and these kind of changes won't really fix him to make him in the meta. Because even if you read over this, Kukoken's getting the much needed love this patch. We're adjusting the mana cost on Morrowind, a big community request, securing Kukoken's position as the king of clear, and improving the scaling and late game potential of the Zephyr. So, yeah. When we're talking about problems here, and this is as you know, I brought up before with the wing blade discussion. Slows suck this season. Slows, any kind of slows on people's kits. If you see like a lot of slows on an enemy comp, you just build wing blade because that's pretty much the core of most of the tanky characters anyway. Supports are getting it, junglers are getting it, soul lanes are getting it. Everyone's getting wings blade. It's because it's fucking cheap, it's easy, it's effective. You are fast as fuck. You can't die. You have 300 extra health. It's bullshit. So yeah, with that being part of the meta, and it's like such a core part of the fucking meta. Like, I can't stress to you enough, it's one of the better items in the meta. Like, you can default that item even if they have no slows. That's how good that fucking item is. So with that being kind of like the core of the meta, Zephyr just kind of fucking sucks. You can't confirm any damage, especially if someone has that. Zephyr is your only confirm into Whirlwind, and you can't get any damage off then. Literally, like, that makes his whole kit unviable because it's so tied on the fact that you really need that slow. The increased damage isn't going to help. Yeah, the poke's going to be a little bit harder, but it's not really going to do anything. Whirlwind doesn't do any damage anyway, but the mana cost is a great quality of life. I like the fact that Hi-Rez is making like a lot of the older gods a little bit easier to use in terms of being able to spam your abilities more, because it's kind of bullshit that like the new gods that came out, you could literally full clear the wave at level 1 with no mana cost or no mana issues, and then Kukulkan's over here like fucking oh my god, I just used the tornado, I got it back, I'm out of fucking mana. It's like, what the fuck? So it's nice that he's getting some love, but I don't think this is going to be the change to put him in the competitive meta until you see some serious nerfs elsewhere. Guan Yu Conviction. Increase the cooldown from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. Yes, duh. This needed. In fact, I want to say they probably need this. They need to nerf this a little bit more, in my opinion, but they can probably monitor this change. Because I like the fact that Hi-Rez is deciding to, like, do slow nerfs. Like, you ever notice that especially from 3.3 to 3.4, a lot of these nerfs are very slight nerfs, and they're like getting monitored. And that's really the key thing here for Hi-Rez. They're not gutting Guan Yu. Like, for example, Guan Yu's healing is kind of ridiculous right now. There's no counterplay to him being able to spam heal every 2 seconds, especially with full CDR, right? So especially with the buff to Conviction, it just made Guan very potent, especially in a team-wide healing area. So the biggest thing with Guan is his early game is complete garbage, and Hi-Rez knows that. They definitely know that, or else they would have nerfed him or gutted him like they've done to Ratatasker, Shinten, etc. But they want to keep Guan in the meta, which I guess I can appreciate, and they're going to just increase the cooldown by 2 seconds and play it out from there. So we'll see how that goes. Raw. So speed of light, increase the lifetime from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. I wish they kind of shed more light on why they did that. I don't know why, but I mean, that's good. I don't think I'll bring him into meta, but you'll see a little bit more play because of that. It's more annoying, that's for sure. More arrows. Rama now regenerates astral arrows faster and also consumes less mana while using astral strike. So Astral Quiver, increase the rate of astral arrow regeneration from 1 arrow every 15 seconds to every 12 seconds. Okay, I mean, that'll help him, that's for damn sure. And reduce the mana cost per arrow from 25 to 20. Okay, and I like the fact that Hi-Rez is kind of reducing the mana cost of everything that people use to push the fucking wave. Because really, really, Hi-Rez should just, like, commit, they should just, a public announcement, every character should be able to clear the wave, or every character should not be able to clear the wave, or like there should be like some kind of set rules with that, because really every character that's in the meta right now, they could just fully clear the fucking wave. Look at Isis, she can full clear the wave and fucking do a handstand and stun you and silence you and take away your protections. Like, she could do it all and dance around at the same time. So yeah, like, you have to be able to clear the wave to even be fucking viable this meta, and you have to be able to clear the wave and poke and like do stuff. So Rama being able to clear the wave a little bit more efficiently, I think, is needed. Thanatos, increase the base physical protections from 11 to 14, increase base attack power from 37 to 39, and I like this because this will help Thanatos be a little bit more in the middle, maybe. Really, he's seen as a counterpick guy, but he's also seen as one of the riskiest assassins in the game right now. Because if you fall behind as Thanatos, you just fucking suck. Like, really, you just can't really do anything, you just feed. So yeah, hopefully this will help out Thanatos players. And Uller, exposed weakness, remove the tooltip error, which stated he lost the buff upon switching stances. So they forgot to change the text. Woo! And yeah, that pretty much like Too Lazy Didn't Read. The moral of this patch notes is that really the biggest change of this patch notes was going to change everything, because a lot of people were complaining about warriors being so overpowered, which they are. This is the warrior meta right now. As it's not even a warrior meta, it's the soul lane meta right now. This is what you want to be looking at. It's really the snowball factor from soul lane. So example would be, and this is like a pretty decent example, you get soloed, you get 1v1s by the other warrior in lane, you miss out on a full wave of experience, you're forced to teleport back, and he takes your boars, then he takes his boars. Because you missed out on a wave and he took his boars and your boars, he's literally like a level and a half ahead of you and shit. And like he takes fire elements or some shit. Like that's a lot of experience and gold lost just because you died. And I think it's okay to fall behind, but like the most should be like he gets the kill and the experience from killing you, and you lose out on the wave, right? Like that's the most it should be. But now you're losing X, Y, Z, and more. And now for the rest of the game, you cannot get your boars. Now for the rest of the game, you cannot get your elementals because he's there on cooldown. Let's say you get ganked. Well, then you get ganked, you die to the soul laner. Now he gets the gold, he gets tower waves under your tower, and he takes your boars, and he takes your blue buff. Now you're just royally fucked because now you can't even clear the fucking wave anymore. So like this, I think, is the start of more of like toning down the amount of experience you can get in the soul lane, which is really the problem, because they can gut every single warrior, right? Hi-Rez could literally could nerf every single warrior to the fucking ground, where like warriors can't even be used anymore, and legit like there would still be too much experience coming out of the soul lane. That's just how it is. The jungle's fucking broken right now. So, and yeah, everything else is kind of like I like the approach is like, let's just wait and see what happens, because like any kind of jungle change right now is probably the biggest thing. Like for example, let's say they just tone down blue buff respawn rate, right? That's huge. Like that's literally like that's a big fucking deal. That's less experience and that's less waves that you're gonna have with blue buff. So it's like, oh, okay, well that's a big fucking deal. And that's about it. Everything else is kind of minor compared to that. Just general god balance changes, and it seems like Hi-Rez is trying to tone up a lot of these gods to be a little bit more relevant in the meta, which I can appreciate. As far as like other nerfs like Bellona and I don't know, Guardian nerfs like Capri, I wish they came, but they haven't, so whatever. But yeah, that's it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that's it for me. Take it easy, guys. Peace.